How are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year? When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win. Just win.
Yo, welcome back to another 2 for 1 Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the SC Raiders Talk Again boy SC. And to my, got it right again, 2 weeks in a row, my brother here, the other half of the 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man, home of the Brown Crackers and the congregation, my brother, Raider Twuan in the building. What's good, Twuan?
Hey, 2 brothers for 1 nation. And y'all know, it's the Raider Nation. Hey, blessings to everybody out there, the congregation. Hi, Shirley. And they ain't like us. Yes, sir. Blessings, man.
And of course, hopefully everybody's having a blessed week, man. I know in the Raiders world, there hasn't been too much that's been happening. Usually, this is what we like to call the dead period, because it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks around there until we get training camp, which training camp is in about, I believe, a month from now, which is going to be very interesting there. But there's a lot of things to talk about as far as previewing the training camp and what happened at minicamp and who looks promising, what looks like the strongest group, what looks like the weakest group, all that we're going to talk about today. But shout out to everybody that's here so far, man. Like I said, bless you to you guys and your families. Hopefully everybody's having a blessed week so far. Let me see who's up in the building. Robert Penna, what's good? What's good? Good to see you. Hope all as well. Hold on, let me get it. Here we go. You already know, Raider Paul. You already know. Oh, wrong one. Why is it playing the wrong one? What the hell? I don't know why it's playing the wrong one. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. My thing is tweaking. Streamer is tweaking right now. But shout out to everybody, man. Daniel Berry Sports was good. Good to see you, man. Cool Kev in the building. Salute. SoCal Sal. Good to see you. Hope all as well. Shout out to everybody coming in, man. Slowly but surely. And like I always like to say, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and both links are down in the description. Both the Instagrams, I believe, and the YouTubes are down below. Hey, go give it a follow and stuff like that. Shout out to Circus Raider in the building. What's good, Moocher? What the hell? We already starting, but talk to me, Twuan, man. What's been going on, man? What type of things in the Raiders world? In the Raider, let me be specific. The Raiders' positions in camp, from what you've seen in minicamp, those couple of days they went to minicamp, who do you think is, let's start off with the weakest link?
I'm listening.
Yeah, the weakest link.
Who is the weakest link?
Who do you think the weakest position is? If we have one. If we have one. There we go. Let me emphasize the question.
Center.
Okay. I knew that was gonna go. I already.
Hey, you guys already know how I feel about Andre James. I'm just playing. I told y'all. I think I told y'all last week. I'm giving him a pass. I'm giving him a pass. I'm giving a side eye emoji, and we're gonna see what's really cracking with Andre James in this new system. But to answer your question, to be honest with you, I don't know. I think maybe I would say our corners, because we don't have that established number 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then who is behind him is also a big behind that. And that's my for those that know, I've been talking about the corner room adding a veteran to come in. I think we have to, because they get hurt, and if one of our starters gets hurt, then we're really going to be scraping the barrel. We're like right now, you have Jack Jones, which I think everybody likes Jack Jones. That's a clear starter. Nate Hobbs, we know that's the guy in the slot. Okay, I say Brandon Faison is the right now, he's probably the guy on the opposite side. So if, say, Brandon Faison goes down, then you got Jacorian Bennett there. Okay, we can kind of go with that. This is his second year. He's possibly, and stay tuned for that live that I'm about to bring out. He might possibly take a jump, but what's behind that? A whole bunch of rookies and undrafted free agents? Like, that's not going to work. So if you ask me that question, I would say corner. Then behind that, defensively, I think it's our linebackers. Even though I do like our linebackers. I do. I can't hear you.
Oh, I was muted. My bad. But shout out to Randy, man, coming in. Hope all is well. Shout out to everybody coming in, man. Let me see who else in your circus says. Starting off negative, let's go. Shout out to everybody. If you mean when Faison fragility goes down, he is very injury prone. That's the biggest knock on him. Obviously Twuan said it last week. It's the biggest knock, and it is the biggest knock, his injury. We know when healthy, some of these players, I forgot what specific player, talked highly about Faison. I think it was Nate Hobbs that said when the guy's healthy and stuff like that, he's out there and he's giving it his all. But the problem is the healthiness, right? For me, the weakest position group on the team, and I mean this in not a negative way, right? Let me emphasize this, because I have faith in this room. It's the same room we're talking about, and that's the cornerback room. The only reason why I say it's the weakest group is because we know Jacorian Bennett is not proven yet. Obviously, it's only been a year, so we can't judge him, but we only have a little bit of a sample size, so I can't say really much about him. Brandon Faison, he did good in occasion and then bad, but his rookie season was one of his best. We know when healthy, he has the potential to do it. But like I said, emphasize again, when healthy. Besides that, you obviously it's a big drop off, right? We don't know what Cameron Richardson could bring. MJ Devonshire, right? Two guys that are rookies. We don't know how they would, if they would move quick in the NFL or not, don't move quick, because some rookies don't translate to the NFL quicker and some do, right? We don't know if these two guys are capable of doing that, but we do know they have different abilities and separate abilities. So for me, there's one guy in particular that I've been keeping my eye on, and I guess it's a little bit biased because of what my feelings are towards Brandon Faison having him cut, is Jacorian Bennett. And the reason why I say Jacorian Bennett taking the next step is because he's one of those guys that is like, I wouldn't say a diamond in the rough, but it pretty much gem in the rough, right? You're trying to find it. You're trying to find the gem through the stones. You're using your pickaxe to smash the stone. You're doing everything you can to try to find it. And that's what it is with Jacorian Bennett. He has the potential, but will he take the next step? And they're trying to find it, which I do know just based on all the reports about minicamp. There has been two cornerbacks that have been really the winners of minicamp. And that has to do with who Twuan talked about a lot and has faith in. Brandon Faison had a really good minicamp, and Jacorian Bennett had a really good minicamp. So for them to have a really good minicamp, that helps us and has us a little bit more hope in them, right? And I talked about this about the cornerback room before, right? I talked about how this cornerback group could be the linebackers of last year. And if you remember the linebackers of last year, we thought it was the weakest group. because there wasn't too much talent. It was Diablo. What can he do? Can he elevate? We knew Spillane was really good in the run game, but in the passing game, he was not that good in coverage. And then, boom, you put a coach like Antonio Pierce there, mold these guys, and now they became one of the strongest position groups on the Raiders. And that's what I believe with this cornerback group, what they're capable of. And, but just as of right now, I wouldn't even use weak position group. I don't even know why I gave the question weak. I would say, I don't know the word for it. I don't know the word for that.
Maybe rooms that need that have a concern.
Have a concern. There we go. Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it is. It is a weak spot in totality, but it's just one of those ones that is a concern. And you talked about Jacorian Bennett, and I'm not saying that I don't like Jacorian Bennett. I like Jacorian Bennett, but and when I say hang my hat on it, it's like, am I really going to rely on Jacorian Bennett to be that solid guy that we can rely on for a good majority of this season? And that's a whole lot to be hanging on a guy that's still trying to figure things out. Jacorian Bennett did have some flashes, at this time last year, and then early there was talks that Jacorian Bennett was doing well, and even now we're hearing Jacorian Bennett, he picked somebody off and all of that, and then the season came, and he got injured, and a bunch of other factors went into that. So can we, again, back to that, can we hang our hat on that, or can we rely on that? That's the part of concern. So and that's that's the debate of, like you said, Brandon Faison and Jacorian Bennett. Brandon Faison in the face of of injury, and then Jacorian Bennett, did he get the maturity that he needed to step up? You know what I'm saying, and say, hey, here I am, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying, and play for it. So if Jacorian Bennett takes that jump for us, then we're in the business, and we're in the money in regards to our corners. Because I think our corners, that could be the most, as much as it can be a concern, that can be the one that is, like we said last year with our linebackers, we had a concern about that, and then all of a sudden, bam, you know what I'm saying? That could be the same thing with our corners.
That's a fact, man. And shout out to everybody coming in, man. Let me see what everybody got to say. Shout out to Rep Penna. Randy says they too find their number 2 and they're dying back. SC just talking Minecraft. I think Bennett steps up this year. Peters was a bad influence. Peters was bad. If Faison and Jacorian Bennett step up, this is an elite defense, and that's a fact. So for me, shout out to Nutty Raider Nate. Before I continue, shout out to Nutty Raider Nate in the building. What up, Nate? There's 4 guys, right? I'm going to say 4. There's 4 guys that will really dictate this cornerback room. And I'm not talking players. Marvin Lewis, Patrick Graham, Rob Ryan, Ricky Manning Jr. Remember those 4 names, bro. 4 people on this coaching staff. Out of them 4, 2 of them, I believe, Ricky Manning Jr. is new. Marvin Lewis is new. And then Rob Ryan was here last year, and Patrick Graham was here last year. 2 new faces to the coaching staff that I probably have a lot of faith in. Marvin Lewis had one of the best defenses in recent times. Just having his knowledge there, I think, helps out people like the cornerback room. Now, when you go on to Ricky Manning Jr., he has a little bit of a resume, right? Was with the Jets. The Jets had one of the best secondaries. You remember last year when we had the preview, you guys could go back to any content creator's preview, I'm pretty sure. And you will see that when we played the Jets, everybody was talking about their secondary. That their secondary is something that was their biggest pro. Who was the secondary's coach last year? Ricky Manning Jr. Before that was the assistant. But he helped out that cornerback room and molded it to what it was. Now, obviously, Marvin Lewis, I talked about him. And then you look at Patrick Graham. He finally has the, what was the wordage that they said? The handcuffs off, all those different things. Practically let him go so he could be free and do whatever the hell he wants to do And you've seen it, what that did to him. He elevated the defense even more higher than what we expected. So for me, those 4 guys in particular, I have a lot of faith in molding the cornerback room. And any point of concern on that defensive side of the ball. Maybe the safeties you could put in there too, because the safeties, I think they could improve, and they got the coaching staff to do it. So, obviously, yeah. Go on.
And going back to corners, because this is something that a lot of people are not talking about, and something that again, here's my Raider gospel in regards to probably one of the top corners in that room is Jack Jones. This is Jack Jones. Jack Jones is going to be better. I'm going to repeat that. Jack Jones is going to be better. If you thought that Jack Jones was good, he's going to be better.
Yeah.
And you know why he's going to be better? Is because this is actually going to be his first off season with the Raiders. This is going to be actually the first time that he's going to have a preseason before going in with us. We got Jack Jones in the middle of we got Jack Jones last year in the middle of the season. So he had to learn on the fly. He had to, get in where he fit in and go with the flow. Well, guess what? He's going to have an off season, and he's going to learn. He's going to know exactly what Patrick Graham wants to do, how Patrick Graham wants to run things, and how he fits in that. And he has a whole offseason to figure that out before week 1. So I project Jack Jones to even have a better season than what he had with us coming in. And it's going to be because of the preparation in almost his second year, but almost like his first year with us, with Patrick Graham.
That's a fact, and he's starting to get the chemistry. That's one huge thing, bro. The chemistry is there, and you see it across the board, bro. Any position group, the chemistry is there. And I like that Antonio Pierce, when he talked about in the press conference, was that pretty much what he worked on the first few days was chemistry. Hey, get to know each other. Go out there. He even let him play basketball, right? Different events, right? 3-point contest, all those different things. So for me personally, that chemistry goes a long way, and I'll continue to say the chemistry word across the off season, because chemistry, you guys don't know how important that is, from the linebackers to the safeties to the corners to the defensive line to the offensive line to the receiver to the running back to the quarterback. Chemistry is the best thing, because that chemistry makes better communication. Communication makes better play. And shout out to Alfredo in the building, Wild Turkey also in the building. Salute to you guys, man. Hope all is well. Hope you guys having a good week so far. They released the Kraken. He finally started blitzing. That's a fact, man. Jack Jones set to be a top 4 quarterback in the NFL. Speak them facts, Randy. I hope so. He has the potential to do it. Jack Jones kind of reminds me of a Trayvon Diggs, right? And why I say Trayvon Diggs is because Diggs is one of those guys that likes to bite on routes a lot. But the difference between Jack Jones and Trayvon Diggs, Jack Jones does it a little less than Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs does it every single goddamn play. And that's why he gets burned most of the time.
Right.
I think he's overrated, in my opinion, because you feel me? Besides the takeaways, he gets burned a lot. But that's because he bites a lot. Now, for Jack Jones, he does it less. Yes, I think it was towards one of the last few games where he kind of effed up, but it's going to happen for a corner. Not every corner is going to be perfect on every play. And it's just even the top 3 corners, right? So personally, Jack Jones is going to be a lot better, not only because of what you said, the whole off season, but the chemistry and also the defensive line.
And I think he's going to be better, just like you said, with the chemistry, in the fact of, yes, we know that Jack Jones bites, but guess what? He knows now what, because he's been in the system and he has an off season to dive into tape and all that stuff. He's going to know when it's okay to bite and know that when he has help behind him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can bite on this route because I know Merrick got my back. I know I can bite on this route because Isaiah Powell is right behind me. You know what I'm saying? It is about that action. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to know when to bite. You know what I'm saying? Like as a corner, as an aggressive corner, you have to know, like you say, know when to hold him, know when to fold him. You got to know when to bite. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to bite on those routes because that's just who he is. But because now that he's getting more familiar with the system, he knows schematically that his safeties or his linebacker, whoever it is that's covering him behind him, they got his back. So now he can be more aggressive going forward. And that's just going to make him even more of a better player, because even though we talk about Jack Jones being a biter, we also have to put this out there. Jack Jones is a diver of the tape too. You know what I'm saying? He studies film. That's one thing that a lot of the coaches have said about him. He even talks about, I saw that in film, like that good pick six that we saw with the Chargers. He said, I saw that on tape. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Jack Jones brings to the table. So that's why I think that he's just cracking the surface of what he's going to bring to the table.
It's a fact. And, Randy brings up a good point here. Jones is why the number 2 cornerback is going to be important. Number 2 is going to get tested a lot. And yeah, people are not going to throw Jack Jones' way, so the other side is going to be the most important side. And that's the thing with the weakest group, right? Why it's a concern, because we don't have a proven guy yet. Doesn't mean they can't be proven. Hey, we got some guys with high potential dogs, man, in their film so far, but we haven't seen enough. You feel me? And it's not discrediting anything they did. It's just the reality of it, the time frame of everything. So hopefully we could get that number 2 corner. Hopefully one of the guys that's already on the roster is that guy, right? That's what I'm hoping. But if not, you're gonna see some news of signings, right? One of the people on my list, Xavier Howard. Obviously, you seen what happened. He's completely off the board. You feel me? We're not gonna have that around, right? So now that limits even more, right? Now we got Stephon Gilmore, the one that Twuan brought up, and a couple other guys that are still out there that have to go see. That could easily be into this, easily be good in the system, right? I don't think we need a superstar corner. I don't think we should trade for a superstar corner. I've been seeing that around. Because of the defensive line. And I'm going to continue to praise the defensive line, because with this defensive line, it's going to make the cornerback's job easier. We just need a cornerback that could do their job. We're not expecting them to go over the top. Just do your job, and it's fine. The defensive line got the rest. But let me go to some of these comments before we continue. Hopefully Patrick Graham doesn't have the constipation look this season. Jack Jones studies tendencies, no fly zone. We haven't had that since. Oh, awesome one, man. Good old days right there. But yeah,
and some people have said, and here I'm gonna push back on you, Eric, just a little bit, just because that's just how I feel about the situation.
Yeah.
I feel like, as much as I like this D line, and let me make that clear. I love what we got cooking on this D line, and this D line is going to be a problem. I've already put that on tape. But I want us to have the mindset with our secondary and our linebackers. I want us to bring in talent as if we did not have a line. You get what I'm saying? Like I want us to have a cornerback room where they're out there guarding like our D line sucks. Because if you do that, then that's when you have a dominant defense. It's not when you solely rely on a defense, your D line to produce. Because guess what? There's going to be games that our D line may not show up. Just being honest, I love Max Crosby, I love Christian Wilkins, but there's going to be times where Christian Wilkins ain't going to sack anybody. There's going to be times where Max Crosby is getting held. You know what I'm saying? And not getting, not getting sacks. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, our corners and our linebackers going to have to cover. So that's why I'm really on. Let's make this team as good as possible, as if every other room sucks and we need to be the savior. You know what I'm saying? The corners need to be a savior. The linebackers need to be a savior. The D-line ultimately needs to be a savior. So I do see the efforts of the D-line. Yes, the D-line does reflect the the pass, but let's flip that. Let's make the pass be a dominant to where the D line, even on a day that they're on the, not cooking, we're still getting the job done.
He said, "Fuck it, go for Eli Apple like the nation Twitter wants feels so bad." I just want another Peter situation with the signing of Vet. Oh, you don't want a Peter signing. I get that. For me, this is the thing, right? Where I get the whole, and I'm gonna push back a little on what you said here. When it comes down to the cornerback room, you look at it from last year, right? You had a Meek Robertson, obviously, people like that, obviously Shelley, all these guys on that team. And that team, you could say that in the beginning of the first half, we didn't have, for example, we didn't have Jack Jones in the first half. We had Marcus Peters that gave us lack of effort. We had a horrible coaching, fiasco and stuff like that. And even with that horrible start to the defense, because of what was going on, even the cornerback, they still held up. Now you move on to the second half, they ended up elevating that with the corners we had, right? We don't have an Amik Robertson yet, right? Amik Robertson is somebody that gives the effort every single down, right? And I'm not discrediting anybody on the team, and everybody knows how I feel about Amik Robertson, but I got to give credit for credit's due. He's a guy that was one of the best tacklers, right, for his size. Played bigger than his size, all those different things. But just to see that turnaround, a major point to that, right? A major reason why that turnaround happened with the defense that even made it even better than what it was from the first half to second half is because of the coaching staff and because people like Malcolm Kuhn stepped up. Having that presence on that defensive line is very important. And that's why I keep talking about it, right? And I get the whole defensive line, act like we don't have one, right? But at the end of the day, I think that because we have one, it's hard to push it away. And I think that's how I'm just thinking of it from a standpoint from Tom Telesco and stuff like that. Because if they didn't believe in what we had, I think they already would have pulled the trigger in the last week. Just because they've had a lot of times on their hands, right? Besides minicamp, it's been very dead the last couple of days, right? So for me, I think that if they believe in them, then I feel like they could coach them. And just because of that reason, I have a speculation that somebody in our cornerback room right now might be that guy. Just because of the silence, if that makes sense. But obviously, hey, I would love a goddamn good ass corner to come in. But Stephon Gilmore, bring me one. I'm cool with that too.
I think Eric too, and I agree with you, like, in that sense of maybe they're just trying to figure out what's in the room. And I think part of the figuring out what's in that room is also this time, right? I think if there was going to be a corner added, I think it might be actually in the midst of training camp. You know what I'm saying? Like it might be like the week into training camp. You know what I'm saying? Closer to that, I think they might actually have a guy because right now it's like they're off. You know what I'm saying? They're I ain't saying they're chilling because we already talked about, they probably still getting their workouts and stuff like that. But a lot of these guys are, they're off. You know what I'm saying? So I think it might be a week before a guy comes in because they want to see who's already continued their work and progressed. They kind of have a look at DeCameron. They kind of have a look at Devonshire. They kind of have a look at these new guys that they brought in. But are they going to progress from here to training camp? And if they do, then they might say, "Hey, we're gonna be okay." But if they start seeing some indicators like it ain't cracking up, then I think that they will. I think they have some names in mind and some guys that they already kind of, have flirted with, in regards to contracts. But I don't think it won't be until like the week into or the week after training camp starts.
I feel that, man. And you brought up two names there that you kind of see what they did during the draft with the cornerbacks, right? DeCameron Richardson and MJ Devonshire, they're both guys that are opposite. One's a better tackler, one's a better coverage. One gets takeaways, the other makes plays in the backfield. Like it's just they complement each other. Two separate cornerbacks that have two separate abilities, and I kind of see what they're going with that. Just the problem is that Brandon Faison and Jacorian Bennett, those two guys are another two guys that one might step up, and I think the one to step up, I can't even pinpoint no more, bro. Like they both had good mini camps. They're both healthy right now, and they both have a full off season.
They both need to step up. That's that's really what it is. You got Brandon Faison, who's a veteran that needs to prove that he still got it, and then you got Jacorian Bennett. That's a that we just drafted. You know what I'm saying, last year, and this is his sophomore year, and he needs to show, yeah, I got it. So they're both in the same boat for two different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we definitely need to look at. Another guy that I've talked about on my channel is Wu Governor. And I'm actually very high on Wu Governor in regards to the cornerback position, but we'll see how it shapes out. And hopefully, you know, he can make some noise, because there is room for guys like that. We need, you know what I'm saying, a guy opposite of, you know what I'm saying, we need that number 2, but we also need that solidified backup. And you know, Amik played that role, you know what I'm saying? And I said it, I think if Jacorian Bennett can fulfill that Amik role, I'm with that. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And then we can build the rest of the roster around that. So there's plenty of ways to go about it, but it's up to these guys to seize the moment.
Yeah. And that's a fact, man. I think these are one of the years that I know every single person in that locker room has the mentality of, hey, we go make the playoffs. Like that's the mentality that's in the room. You could just feel the energy and stuff like that. But shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Randy, says agree, but this defense turned that corner. The last 5 games last year, they played as one unit working together. It's a fact. Sorry, yes, don't. Yep. Shout out to Queen Raider in the building. What up, sis? Hope all is well. Good to see you. It's Sam, the Savior Webb. But you know, we talked about the weakest, right? Let's get a little positive here, right? On this aspect. Now, the strongest position group, in your opinion, is what, and for what reasons?
Daniel Carlson.
The kicker.
Hey, you guys know I've been talking about the 3 people that's been safe on the team is Daniel Carlson, AJ Cole, and Max Crosby. But to answer your question seriously, I don't want to say D-line. I don't want to say D-line.
Okay.
I'll say wide receiver.
Okay.
I'll say wide receiver.
Okay.
I think we got some guys. Excuse me, the Politero man is going through. If y'all hear the ringing. But yeah, you know, I a lot of people sleep on Jacoby Myers, and I think Jacoby Myers is a number 1. I think he gets outlooked because of, you know, we got one of the best in the game, Devontae Adams, right? Trey Tucker is definitely, he's taking a jump. I hate to be dropping my content for Saturday, but he's taking a jump. And it a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are seeing that, and I think our wide receivers are good. I think we're good because you look at it as Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, and then you go behind that, and it's like you're telling me Michael Gallup is our 4th wide receiver, a wide receiver that could be a number 2 on, you know, pretty much every team in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? 2, possibly 3. You know what I'm saying? You're bumping him to number 4, you know, and I think we got something there at wide receiver. Now it's really up to this quarterback to let those guys shine. And I don't know, just looking at it wide receiver wise, I don't know statistically if one of our wide receivers is really going to have like a huge jump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like where, and I'm just using these numbers, you know, our number one receiver is 1,000 yards and the next wide receiver has 600. Like, I think it's going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be like, you know what I'm saying? If that number one wide receiver has 1,000, then the next wide receiver is going to have like, you know, 880.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's going to be that close. You know what I'm saying? If they do it right, you know, because I think that the most successful teams, you know what I'm saying, most spread the ball out where you didn't know, you knew who the number one was, but you don't know where that ball was going to go on any play. You know what I'm saying? And it could be anybody that could get the ball and do what they need to do. And I think we have the talent at wide receiver where if you just give them the ball, they could do the rest.
Yeah. I have a lot of faith in the receiver. That was one of the ones I was gonna say, but I'm gonna go different here. And you know, I think it's pretty obvious, right? I've been emphasizing this position group for the whole off season. The reason why I keep saying the cornerbacks will be better, the reason why the safety will be better. And let me just show you. Let me just plug a video real quick that I just dropped real quick. I'll give you a little insight of my position group in the taking here. This is my position group right here.
There's two gentlemen that's in this building every day before coaches. Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. They happen to be on the same D-line playing next to each other. God bless everybody else. Don't worry about our quarterbacks, buddy. Worry about yours.
You feel me? Had to show that real quick. The defensive line, man, I think it's the strongest position group on our team. Shout out to my 2 cents in the building. Was good. Pause.
Hey, you know what? And I'm gonna dive in deeper on your statement. What part of the D line? Okay. Defensive end or defensive tackle?
It's hard because there's one guy, and you'll probably know what guy I'm talking about just based on this. There's one guy on this thing that I just don't know how they're going to use him. Because last year, they used him in a certain position that was technically out of his position. But now they're saying they're going to refer him back to that position. So if they refer... So I'm going to say this. If Tyree Wilson plays defensive end, I think defensive end is the strongest. But if he plays D tackle, I think it's D tackle. Okay. But just for the sake of your question, I'm going to say, because the obvious, a lot of people will say the edge rushers. I'm going to just go opposite. I'm going to go defensive tackle. Reason being, the talent we have on that defensive tackle room, the just Wilkins alone is a dog. And obviously the edge rushers is a strong, no doubt about it. But just because I want to be different, the defensive tackle room is the strongest. Just because the like I said, the abilities, the rotations it's gonna have, the starters, John Jenkins and most likely Christian Wilkins side by side. Come on, bro. We finally have interior pressure, bro. What we've been raving about for years. For years.
Hey, you know what? And I wanted to break it down that way because a lot of people just want to say, a lot of these content creators and whatever just want to say D line, but there's two sections in our D line. And even if you break it down even more, you got your nose tackles, right? You have your ends and you have your tackles. That's what consists of your D line. And I know you decided to go different, Eric, but I completely agree with you. I love Max Crosby, but when I look at this D tackle room, it is a monster. You're telling me that, and we were good. We were good last year on our D line with John Jenkins, and I'll tell you this, with John Jenkins and Adam Butler. And guess what? They're backups. They're backups. So you're telling me we got better at D tackle? Like, Come on now, like, and that's why I feel like out of the D line, and I, like I said, that's why I agree with you. Out of our D line, it's our D tackles that make that happen. Like I and I like Kuntz and all them. I'm not hating on them, but if you ask me which line, if you ask me what group is better, D tackle. Hey, chat, let me know what y'all think. Do you guys think it's D ends or do you guys think it's D tackle? We said D tackle over here, but let us know what you think in the comment section.
Shout out to Tupo in the building, man. George C entering the building was good. Good to see you guys, man. Hey, for everybody, hit that like button, push out the algorithm more, man. And subscribe if you're new. In the description down below, there's both YouTube and Instagram links. For me, I mean, I was just gonna say defensive line in general. I love the defensive line room. I even like the defensive end group. You know, I talked about a couple of them, man. You know, Malcolm Kuntz is only gonna get better, man. Max Crosby is gonna get better, and we didn't think he would get better. He will get better, and that's the crazy part about it, right? That's the scary part for other teams, that he could get better just because the fact that he's got defensive tackle help. But for me, just one thing about the defensive tackle group, why I went a little different, right? And everybody's saying defensive end, I respect it, man. The defensive end is freaking dogs, bro. I mean, dogs across the board, and they're only gonna get better. Like I said, that's the scary shit. That's some scary shit right there, right? And you heard in that video that I just played, the edit I made, Antonio Pierce said it himself. Don't worry about our quarterback. Everybody's talking about our quarterback. Worry about yours, because we got some dogs on this team. And that's exactly right? And that's just the defensive line, right? Imagine when Patrick Graham blitzes. Imagine when he blitzes, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's gonna be ferocious, bro. It's gonna be.
What's your blitzing for?
Oh my, that's a tough one. I'm just trying to think of the personnel in the backfield who could.
I'm talking about on the line.
Oh, well, obviously I would put Wilkins, Max. I would put, you know what? Kuntz and Wilson.
Whoa. Okay.
The reason I put Wilson, let me just emphasize this before I continue. The reason why I put Tyree Wilson is because of his wingspan, his length, and the way that he got stronger in the offseason. All those three things will help the blitz.
You know what? I like that lineup, and the reason why I like that lineup is because Tyree Wilson, and people don't talk about this either. Tyree Wilson actually can drop back in coverage, and he did that a few times in the Kansas City Chiefs game. They thought they were rushing for, and then Tyree would drop back, and then they would be in almost like a 3-4 situation, and it caused some problems for Patrick Mahomes. So I like that lineup, but I'm gonna make a different lineup.
Okay. Max
Crosby, of course. Tyree Wilson is not making it.
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to be Max Crosby. It's going to be Christian Wilkins. I'm putting Adam Butler there. And Malcolm Kuntz. And the reason why I'm putting Adam Butler there is because Adam Butler was actually our pass rush specialist in last year. Max Crosby put it out there that Adam Butler was the one that was calling like the end tackle, you know, when they would swap, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he would call those things out. So he was the one moving the strings on our D line. So to have him on that line at pass rush time, he would be kind of like the setup man for. So it's not just, Christian Wilkins is rushing and Max Crosby is rushing. No, Adam Butler is also, he's rushing, but he's setting up. He's picking off, because there's times where like you see like a tackle, he'll push the guard, and then the other tackle will wrap right around that. You know what I'm saying? So Adam Butler is that setup man for that whole entire offense. I mean, for that whole D line. So I think he's really going to be like kind of the brain of that defensive, rush. So, and again, he was our rush guy with Max Crosby. So I'm ready to roll with that.
Okay. Either or, they're gonna cause some disruption, right? Raider
Absolutely.
Kev, what's good, Raider Kev? Good to see everybody, man. The Condor, Kuntz, Wilson, and Robinson. He said Janoris Robinson. That's a good one. Good. You know what?
3 ends.
Robinson.
Robinson is an end.
He's an underrated one too.
Yeah,
very underrated, bro. Next to Ogoha, I've been talking highly about Ogoha. He's a guy that, hey, people count him out because of where he's from, the program he came from. But me, hey, let's not forget what he did in his first snap in a professional level in a different country, right? He got a sack his first time getting a snap. And remember I know it was only one time, obviously, because he didn't get too much play time after that. But just to have that feeling, who else got a sack their first time? Malcolm Kuntz. I'm not saying he's gonna be like Malcolm Kuntz, but Agoha has all the abilities, the physical abilities, and I wonder how he's doing in camp. I haven't seen too many reports. I just want to know how he's been doing. At the end of the day, he's a person that doesn't count in the roster, by the way, y'all. Once again, Agoha does not count for the roster. So you got 53 man, and Agoha will be the 54. It don't matter. It won't count as nothing. No penalty, no nothing. Shout out to Jack Hen in the building, man. Terry Unsella followed. Tubby, shout out to Chile in the building. D-line, gonna rotate too. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody coming in, man. Hope all as well. I was just talking about why I think defensive group is the best. Oh, he was just naming the guys why he think the defensive group is the best. I feel that. I feel that. And that's just a couple guys, right? Like I said, you put Agoha in there in the defensive end group, and they're just a great group, man. They're just a great group. But for Randy, he says his starting four is Max, Wilkins, Butler, Kuntz. So similar to actually exactly like you. Shout out to All Eyes on G in the building. What's good? All Eyes, good to see you. Hope all as well, man. But of course, for me, I ain't gonna lie. I just want to see this defensive line perform, bro. That's all I care about.
I think a lot of people sleep on Butler, and like I said, the production that we saw out of Butler last year, he's now kind of like a backup. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of like a secondary because he kind of plays the same role that Christian Wilkins plays. Is going to play for us. He's that three tech. So that's why you can put him on pass rush downs. But I think in the more traditional form, I think it might be like a Jenkins or a MarTwuan McCall that would be like that nose. Next to Christian Wilkins at D tackle, in traditional formats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. And this is a good question for the both of us here, man. What D tackle aren't gonna make the 53? So he's asking which ones would not make the 53. Our prediction for that. Let me actually bring up the depth chart to make sure that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me try to.
I kind of have one.
Who do you think?
Now, I think Matthew Butler's gone.
Okay.
I think he's gone. Just because he hasn't really done anything.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen him. You know what I'm saying? It's not when I say we haven't seen him, like, have we seen him play? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like out there and do something. So he hasn't really shown much. Another one, and I hate to say it because I really liked him, is Nesta. I think Nesta.
Okay.
Because now it almost feels like we got to break down the D line and who's, you know what I'm saying? Like who's gonna stay? Because you got to keep 10. I think Nesta's on the bubble.
Okay.
But I think for sure I mean not Adam Butler, but Matthew Butler's gone.
Okay.
But I know you have the list, so I'm going off the top of my head. I don't have the list in front of me.
Well, the only other people on the defensive tackle here, you have Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler, Byron Young, MarTwuan McCall, and then John Jenkins, Tyree Wilson, Matthew Butler, and that's the Jade Severa.
Maybe Byron Young.
I think me personally, I think Byron Young's gone, and I think Matthew Butler's gone. And if they have to cut one more defensive tackle just because they're gonna rotate with Tyree Wilson and all these different things, damn. I hate to say this because I know you praise him, bro. McCall's gone. If that's the case, bro. I don't have the biggest faith in him the way you do, but hey, we got both my guys, right?
Like I like MarTwuan McCall. I'm putting that out there. I like what he brings.
I just like Nesta Jade, bro. It's just hard to get rid of him, bro.
And that's why I said Nesta's on the bubble, because you have to look at the body types, right? And you know how many big bodies, and you know what I'm saying. That's why I know you're talking about MarTwuan McCall, because he's at what we call nose tackle, right? John Jenkins is a nose tackle, but we know John Jenkins is the number one nose tackle on this team. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not only a run stuffer, but if you look at his tape, he got a little disruptive pass rush to him. You know what I'm saying? And he's breaking up some things in the middle, allowing room for everybody else. So we know he's the number one nose tackle. But you know, who's that backup to him? And I think MarTwuan McCall's that guy. And then again, for me, Nesta Jade is that third. So how many big bodies are we going to carry? And then you have Christian Wilkins, he's a 3 tech. You have Adam Butler, he's a 3 tech. So that's where Byron Young, he's technically supposed to be a 3 tech. So is that where he slides in, because he's at third D tech, 3 tech, tackle?
I think
that's where the toss up is.
I think that even with them getting cut, right? Let's just say some way, somehow, feel me, maybe Nesta J gets waived or something, or gets cut, or McCall or whoever, Byron Young. I wouldn't doubt it if they bring in 2 defensive tackles into the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it wouldn't mean them getting cut doesn't mean that they're gone. I think that they would for sure get a spot at the practice squad. And kind of like what all I said here, they did waive Nesta and did go on practice squad last year. That's how they did it. They waived them last year, and then they put them on the practice squad. And that's what I think is going to happen with some of these guys, just because we have so much talent on this defensive line that it's hard to pick out anybody from the rest, right? Because we got some young guys, right? But then we also got some veterans, and we know that these veterans are really, really good, but we know that they're getting older. I think John Jenkins is about to be in he's like 30, 31, 32, somewhere around there. So, obviously he's got a couple years left. And that's the problem, right? We need some young guys that are going to be behind him. Is he?
I think he's like 34 or something like that. Like he's on his way
34,
out.
34.
He's on his way out, and that's why I feel like MarTwuan McCall in his second year in the league, it can he's that pass the torch to John Jenkins. But right now, John Jenkins is hot, so you gotta ride that horse until you can't anymore. And I think that's what's up with John Jenkins. But that's what we're running into with our line. And I think and hear me out on this. I think the guys, when I say he's gone, I'm not saying he's completely gone. I think, again, like you said, I think if they can get him to the practice squad, they're going to move him to the practice squad because there's still talent there. And
Facts.
ultimately, your problem is the best problem. You know what I'm saying? When you start bringing in guys that you really don't know and you haven't really figured out, you don't know their injuries and stuff like that, you run into a whole lot of problems. You can run into a whole lot of problems. So the guys in-house, even Matthew Butler, that may have not got that much production, you know what you got with him. You know what I'm saying? And he knows the system. He knows exactly he knows the language and everything else. So, you know, if you had to plug him in an emergency situation, he can at least go out there and do what he'll be doing what you're doing. You need to get done.
Facts, man. And let's get to some of these questions before we call it here. George C says, "What's your thoughts on our rookie cornerbacks and if Bennett steps up this year?" I'm gonna let you take it away.
I'm in a wait and see.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not really too high. I mean, I see the little glimmers of the possibilities, but the ones we drafted, they have to take that jump. You know what I'm saying? Because the opportunity is there. You know what I'm saying? You and I'm a fisherman, so when the fish are biting, you got to set the hook. And they're in a situation where the fish are biting. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity is there. They got to set the hook on, the position they want. And like the UDFA that came in, like I said, I like Woo Governor. If you have not seen Woo Governor, go check his highlights out. There's some interviews out there about, his story and all of that. And I think definitely, that's a guy to look for too.
For me, my thoughts on the rookies is that I like, I think out of all of them, I like MJ Devonshire the most, our 7th round pick, due to the fact that I think he went, just because he went in the 7th round doesn't mean he was a 7th round talent. In my opinion, he was a 5th round guy. He was chosen 7th round, so for me that was pretty much an A grade there, just because of the value you got from him. He's a guy that, kind of, you feel me, has been under the radar. When you got all these different cornerbacks in the whole draft outshining everybody else, you kind of forget the guys like him. A guy that got a lot of takeaways, that played in high-end competition right at Pitt and stuff like that in general. And he's a guy that I think has a lot of potential and that could reach that. And at the end of the day, he was a 7th round guy, man. So he knows that he's got to show everybody, hey, you guys chose me in the 7th round. Everybody skipped me. I'm going to show you something. And for me, I like him a lot. And then DeCamerion Richardson, man, a guy that is a dog physicality-wise, the way he tackles, the way he gets to the backfield, all those different things is what happens with obviously with I got a little bit of a brain for it. I kind of forgot because I see something in chat about the Lakers real quick. I got a little sidetracked real quick, but obviously, and then Bennett. You said if Bennett steps up this year, he had a heck of a minicamp, man. He was one of those guys that they said that they talked highly about, a lot of reporters, and we could only go based on the reporters, what they say. And for me, with Jaquarian Bennett, he's a guy that had a really good minicamp, had a really good 7-on-7 drills and all these different things. And not only him, but also Brandon Faison did too. So 2 guys that we need them to step up, and it looks like they're stepping up already in the offseason. So for me, I think the rookie cornerbacks have high potential like every single other rookie, right? But these guys, I really have faith in Marvin Lewis, Patrick Graham, Manning Jr., and Rob Bryant to really mold these guys. And then Bennett, obviously, I think he could take the next step. Hey, it's up there for the taking, right? The 2nd spot is there for the taking. Is who's going to grab it, right? And it could be Bennett, it could be Faison, or maybe it could be one of the rookies, or maybe it'll be somebody that comes in before training camp or during training camp, right? But obviously, the cornerback group got a potential to be like the linebackers of last year, right? Question: does the Raiders use the $34 million to sign a cornerback or use to re-sign players? My thought: re-sign players first, since 2 4th rounders at 1 cornerback position. I think I'm gonna give the simple answer here: you re-sign your players. What do you think?
take care of our guys, and especially because of our situation,
Mm.
a lot of the guys that we need to take care of are main pieces to what we're really loving about our defense and just team in general. You have Trayvon Merrick that needs a contract. You have Divine Diablo that possibly needs a contract, and that's up for discussion. Because for me, I think if we need to move on from somebody, that might be one. But you have Robert Spillane that we definitely need to sign and have a contract for, and then you have Malcolm Kuntz at D line. So on all three levels of our defense is somebody that definitely needs a contract. So I think that might be another reason why we're not so quick of making it rain. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we might get maybe one guy and then say, rollover minutes like they do in cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Roll over that money, because we're going to have to be able to re-sign key pieces to our roster.
That's a fact, man. Shout out to everybody coming in, man. Stack up the likes. You already know, man. Hit them likes, and subscribe if you're new. But we're coming to an end here. It is the dead period, which sucks. Shout out to James Furpo, man. I almost forgot. Shout out to James Furpo. All day, every day, man. JPJ was one of my favorite. Best value was Trey Turner. You just don't win that award for nothing. Morg won it too. Oh, you're talking about
Trey Taylor.
Trey Taylor, not Trey Turner. Trey Taylor. Yeah, Trey Taylor's a dog, man. He's a guy that I think me and Twuan have a lot of faith in. A guy that could easily become our starting safety eventually. And he's got all the tangibles, man, that you want in a safety. And I don't know. He has. If you guys haven't seen his story in general, I know every single rookie pretty much has a story, but his story and just the way he presents himself and the way he goes out there and plays physicality and gives it his all, that's a guy that, hey, I'm glad we brought in a guy like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I know we didn't talk about it, but I think that's the reason. I think that's another reason why we didn't talk about it, is because I think we both agree that maybe that safety room is a very strong room. You know what I'm saying? In totality, you know what I'm saying? When you have a Merrick, an Epps that and I've been saying it all the time, when it's quiet, you know what I'm saying? When the safeties ain't making a lot of noise, that's a good thing, because that means they ain't getting blown coverages and stuff like that. And then Isaiah Powell has definitely stepped in and been that guy. So the only two question marks, and question marks in a small degree, is Chris Smith, and the new guy that we brought in is Trey Taylor. So I think we're solid right there in our safety room.
That's a fact, man. And when it comes down to it, this defense as a whole has the potential to be one of the best defenses we've seen from the Raiders in recent time. And we got the coaching staff, we have the players, and then we look at the offensive side of the ball. And we didn't talk much about the offensive today, but we'll probably talk about them next week more. They're dogs, man. They're dogs. Yep. And these quarterbacks are going out there knowing that they have everything around them to succeed, and they both want to succeed. And in order to succeed, you need a starting spot, and they're both competing at a high level for that. Now we got people like Aiden O'Connell that didn't really talk before. Now he's trash talking. You got people like Gardner Minshew pointing at his own players, talking shit. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Even Nate Hobbs talked about it, right? He kind of went out there on a glimpse. He's like, hey, that pissed me off. That pissed me off, them talking trash. But he likes it. And that's what it's all about, man. Shout out to the Raiders room in the building. As a Lakers hater, I love the JJ signing. Hey, all of you guys put respect on JJ motherfucking Redick, all right? Don't worry. The Boston Celtics had an easy way this year, all right? The Lakers are coming, bro. I don't care.
If nothing else fails, we got a jersey for him. He can shoot some threes for us.
He'll probably be our best 3-point shooter. Nah, but I'm just playing. But I would say congratulations to Boston, but I fucking hate them. So there's no congratulations from me. But besides that, Raiders have a high potential this year to really go out there and make some noise. I think the Raiders are for sure a dark horse because the media is always gonna downplay the Raiders, saying that we're gonna be the last in the division. Well, we gonna see, right? I love being the underdog, and that's what we're gonna be. So, shout out to everybody that came in, man. Blessings, Twuan. Let them know what upcoming videos you got, lives. You already know the due diligence, man.
Man, I've been in the Ahern whipping it up for y'all. Look, hey, I had some technical difficulties. That's why I didn't go live on Tuesday, but I'm going live this Saturday. I'll be putting it up to give you guys the time. I believe it might be around 12 o'clock on Saturday, but I will be dropping sophomore slump versus sophomore jump. Okay. I'll be talking about the sophomore jump versus the sophomore slump. Okay, you guys can come on in. I might even pull some guys on panel. We're gonna talk it up on Raider Twuan. That's the channel. You guys come on over to Raider Twuan. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Why? Because I like you. All right, and go ahead and subscribe because you might win a pair of black Air Forces. Okay, that's what we got going over there at Raider Twuan. All those that are on the SC Raider Talk, come on over to Raider Twuan and subscribe. Those that are on the Raider Twuan channel, get on over to my boy SC and subscribe. Show my bro some love. Okay. Also, I want to say this for the 2 for 1 Nation podcast. I want to thank you guys for watching. You know what I'm saying? We see what you guys are doing out there. Those that watch it live and those that watch the replay, we even see that. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you guys watching the replay, hitting the like button. And we want you guys to also, we say it all the time, but we want to engage with you guys even more. So definitely put your questions in the chat, okay? Because we want to answer your questions if you guys have them. Whatever topics you guys want to, bring up, we want to be able to talk those. Yeah. So don't be afraid, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, to put your questions in the comment section because we do read them and we want to answer your questions as best as we can.
Facts, man. Media always hates us. They give us a C. We already know how it is, sir, because you already know if Brock Bowers got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, they will call that an A+, even though they have their tight end. That's how it be. But besides that, Lakers coming to figure out to get burnt. God damn, Cook. Hey, don't forget, Cook. Don't forget the last time in the playoffs, all right? Don't forget, just to remind you. If you guys can't see that, that's Curry down there, right? All right, and that's LeBron with the sword, all right, right there. You see that? Remember, we own the Warriors, all right.
You talking about the team that didn't make the playoffs?
Hey, look! If the Nuggets weren't in our way, this shit,
right?
The Nuggets weren't in our way, bro. I'm telling you, but it's okay, bro. We're gonna see what happens. NBA is gonna be fun, but most importantly, the Raiders are gonna be even funner, man. You already know, man. We all rock one nation. It's the Raider Nation. And thank you guys for all the love and support, man. Like always. For me, I know I didn't go live Tuesday because I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of things going on. But besides that, you feel me? Like, I just wanted to wait till the 2 for 1 Nation podcast to talk about everything. So I just skipped Tuesday, but I did drop a YouTube short. So go check it out. But of course, next Tuesday for sure, going live 100%. Like I said earlier now, because I think it might be a better time for everybody. And there you go. Rest in peace, Willie Mays, man. I know I seen that. I think I seen that the other day. Yeah, I think I seen it across my feed, but rest in peace, man. A lot of people were losing, man, in the sports world and just in general, man. It sucks, but it shows you, like I always say at the end of my lives, life is too short. So always tell your loved ones you love them all the time, man. Even if you hate somebody, let's say it's a family and you guys have the most horrible, like some odd bond, you guys hate each other. Hey, bro, you just never know what you've lost until you lose it, right? And it sucks. So please go out there and tell your loved ones you love them. But besides that, I appreciate you guys, man, for the love and support you guys gave us. Of course, if you have any questions still, you can either wait till the next live, or I would recommend put it in the comments down below after this live is done, and I will get to them and all that stuff, man. Or if you're on Twan's channel, go out there, put comments there. He will respond as well. Or he might make a video if he sees some interesting ass question, because he he's more consistent than me on videos and everything back to back, right?
Hey, I'm back here whipping it up for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So definitely you want to be a part of it. And like Eric says, you know, you love your loved ones. And my saying is, you're a blessing, be a blessing to someone else. And definitely you want to be a blessing to those here while they're alive. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so you can be okay with it. I know, just personally, just sharing a little quick story with you guys. You know, for me, I lost my mother, and you know, one thing that kind of helped me in that process was along that process I was being a blessing to her. So it helped me when she left. Like, I did the best I could while my mother was here. So you know, that's just one thing. So yeah, definitely, you're a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else.
That's a fact. And shout out to everybody, man. Pleasure leader. Shout out to True Raider in the building. And shout out to everybody coming in, man. Like I said, hit that like button. We appreciate that, Randy. Great podcast as always. And you already know, man, how I like to end it off, man, as well. Like always, man. And blessings to you guys and your families, man. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Don't drink and drive. None of that. You already know what I say every single time. And also, you know, tough times never last, but tough people do, and you guys are also tough people, man. And I appreciate everybody that comes on by. And next Thursday, 2 for 1 Nation podcast. Tuesday, my individual show, and obviously what Twuan talked about on his channel. He's dropping videos over the weekend, stuff like that. And I'm gonna soon do videos as well. I'm just seeing what to talk about in the videos, but stay tuned for that, man. On that note, y'all, I'll catch you guys. This was the SC Raiders Talk, aka boy SC or Eric, and your boy Raider Twuan, man. Home of the congregation and the Brown Crackers, man. And we are out. Until next time, y'all. See y'all next week. Peace out.
Is the will to win. Is the will to win.
Your commitment to excellence and your will to win will endure forever. You will not